The Parsha begins with Abraham recovering from a circumcision in his tent on a very hot day when 3 visitors appear to him. And we know that these are angels and they each have a different message that they came to bring to Abraham. And while they're talking, they ask him, they say, "Where is Sarah, your wife?" It happened to be that Sarah was in the tent. She had remained there just as an act of modesty. And they asked where she was. And the question that's brought up is, why did these angels need to ask Abraham where his wife was? Like, they knew where she was. They were angels. They had the ability to know where she was. So why are they asking him? And Rashi comments, the reason they asked him was l'chaviv la labayla, to ingratiate her to her husband. Because when they would ask Abraham where his wife was, he would remember that she was being very modest in this moment, and he would be excited about that. He'd be like, wow, I really picked a good one. I have a great wife. She's so modest. She's still in the tent. And that is why the angels ask him that, so that Abraham would feel this joy that his wife was such a tzaddikas, such a righteous person. And at first glance, it's very puzzling why this would be necessary, right? The other night, Wednesday night, I was learning in yeshiva with a study partner. We were learning, and if an angel came to my house and asked my wife, "Where's your husband?" And she could tell him, he's learning in the Beis Medrash. She'd be like very excited to tell him that. She'd be proud of me. She was proud of me for doing that. So maybe that makes sense, like for us, but for Avram and Sarah, they're probably the paradigm of like what a harmonious marriage should look like, what a couple should look like. They were married at this point, I believe, for over 70 years. So the question is, like, why would it be necessary for the angels to kind of like bring this like compliment to Avram? They're like, wow, like you did good, right? They basically essentially told him, like, you did good. You have a great wife. Like, look, she's so modest. She's such a righteous woman. She's doing chesed for us. Like, you did good. And like, it seems odd that Avram should need that after 70 years of marriage. So perhaps the lesson is that actually we do. We do need constant reinforcement, not just how great our spouse is. We should always be looking to, as Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg says, always be looking to compliment someone else's spouse to them. Very, very good thing to do. Reminds me like when we first get married, right? And your friends say, wow, you got a good one, right? Well, that feels good as a newlywed, but maybe you don't need that after 7 years. But the answer is you probably still do. And not just for how great your spouse is, but in general, we always need positive reinforcement. We need compliments. We need to be told how great we are, how great our spouse is, how great our friends are. Like, that's something that a human being, the human condition, is that we always need that. And perhaps that is why the angels asked Avram where his wife was, despite the fact that they were married so long and had such a beautiful marriage. Like, a person always needs that. And I heard quoted from Rabbi Chaim Shmulevitz, the great mashgiach of Mir. I heard him quoted as having said that when he was, he had given great classes even in Europe with the great European yeshivas. And then when he was older, he gave great classes in Israel. And he would comment that when an 18-year-old bachra, 18-year-old yeshiva student would come up to him, an older man at this point, and tell him that his class was interesting and really inspiring, like he said, even as an older man, that made him feel great. Because as human beings, we need that. We need that feedback. It feels amazing to be told that you're doing something right, you're doing something well. And that might be the lesson that we learn from the angels asking Avram where his wife was, despite the fact that they've been married so long, despite the fact that they presumably knew how great she was. But that reminder, even after so many years, felt great for Avram. So hopefully we can all take this to heart, and we can be very quick to praise others, praise our spouses, praise our children, give specific praises. God willing, you'll love this video, and you'll send me an email how much it touched your life and changed your life and inspired you. I'm just joking. Please don't do that. But please, hopefully we can take to heart that people need good feedback. We can give that feedback. Employees, employers, give it to everyone. Let them know how great they are. And that will create a more harmonious, happy world that we can all live in together. Have a beautiful Shabbos.